Hello, hello, hello. This is Jules. I'm so excited, bursting with excitement actually, to share with you a revolutionary mentor of mine and a collaborator to which I am so grateful to have catalyzed so much growth in my reality, to get to share her with you and to share what we're stepping into together. So, welcome, Janelle. Mm. Janelle, so happy to have you here today and so happy to introduce you to all of the people, everyone who's going to be watching this, your people, my people, everybody all over the world. I know one day maybe look back on this and go, this was the beginning.
Yes.
So
The
please,
best,
Janelle,
the
yes,
best possible virus is about to explode, right?
the sort of
She's
contagion we
Jules,
all look
I'm
forward
Janelle.
to.
We are the J Force. So it's so auspicious and very synchronous that we found each other. I think it was quite inevitable. Um, and I remember on my journey about 5 years ago, I kept feeling and also hearing the whisper that I wanted to co-create and collaborate. And I felt there was a time when leadership was taking a bend in how it was going to be unfolding for the greatest evolution revolution for humanity and really conscious commerce. And so it was thinking that a co-CEO dynamic where two people work in synchronous flow, dance, and relationship, because there's always checks and balances while there's also this co-creative power, potential, and energy. And when I saw one of the videos of Jules speaking from her authentic self, I could feel that whisper come alive. That whisper was coming out of me. And I felt, oh, she has the gravitas. She has the heart-centered stability, strength, and passion to carry something forth in which I'd never seen. So I felt like I needed to meet this woman. And so about 4 or 5 months ago, we started having conversations, and every conversation was a dynamic, revolutionary conversation. And my experience, we both became so much more alive and really pointed in the purpose, the power, and the potentiality that was to come through each of us and as a collective. And so it's monumental that we're having this conversation and sharing it with you, with what the universe is dreaming through us. And so we
Mm.
have this opportunity to do a series which is called Revolutionary Conversations. And we open this up to everyone because this is the time to begin to work with a structure and infrastructure that's different, that's greater, and that holds potential that the universe, our planet, and humanity really needs. So um, it's great joy to just bring this alive with you.
Oh my goodness, thank you for bringing it all together. Hey, we weren't sure how we were going to make it concise, and you did it, Janelle. Boom. Could you feel that in your bones, everyone? Like, whoa, this is it. Like the way that we are creating. And for years and years in my practice as a cranial sacral therapist, as an intuitive mentor, and embodiment coach, um, this that is coming alive inside of us. It's felt like it's been brewing for a really long
Mhm.
time. And now it's at a place and a time where everything is coalescing and we can't not grow. We can't not evolve. We can't not awaken to what we're truly capable of. I know you can feel this because so many people are bringing this alive inside of them. They feel like they've reached their max of things, like of the material world. They've done all. They've made the money. They've had the family. They've succeeded beyond the expectations of society, and they still don't feel fulfilled. They still don't feel like they have what they really need. Their soul is not feeling nourished. uh, Working with, like, from that to new moms who are recognizing, like, they they want to raise future leaders, right? They want to be the leader that their kid looks up to, that their children are inspired by, because the world is not going to look the same as the world that we've grown up in, and dramatically different than the world that we've grown up in, Janelle. And so
Exactly.
this dynamic relationship of being able to co-create together, the way that Janelle and I have so naturally stepped into, of holding each other accountable, being
Mm,
there when it gets uncomfortable, and having to work through
leaning
our
in,
own stuff. Yes.
leaning
Yeah.
in. Takes such courage. And yet my experience with Jules has been that I've been testing my boundary and her boundary to see, can she lean in as I lean in? And that develops so much trust and so much depth that has brought us to what I call a golden nucleus. Because in that place, I call it the incubation station. And that's where two people or a group of people can work together with the energy, with the nuances of our personas and our past, and lean into the center within ourselves. And then that means the center of the group, of the dynamic of what wants to be born. And so in that sacred resonance is this golden nucleus. And Jules and I are going to hold that for everyone who's ready to meet their destiny, the dream that's beckoning them. And that might be in a leadership capacity where you go out and you lead in a way of you do an entrepreneurial endeavor. Maybe you have a dream to design something new that's never been born, right? Because out of our essence is originality, invention, and innovation. And each of us were born with something that is so precious and unique that's never been in this world. And this is the time for all of us to go deep inside and feel what's beckoning, what's calling us, what are the whispers that have been coming through. And now, with this wonderful infrastructure, inner structure, and structure, which we're calling the Revolutionary Leadership Academy, it gives people an opportunity to do the work within themselves, to bring out, to bring alive their inner genius, so that that purpose, that mission, that vision has a golden thread, has a path. And with that, when the universe is witnessing you staying in your truth, it conspires to see you realize that vision, that dream, that golden piece that is for you to live. There's that saying where the life you were born to live is the life you were born to give. And so this beautiful incubation station is a chance for each of us to go in and find our own invincibility, right? As a child, you probably felt that audacious, adventurous self that had no limitations, that felt so alive, that didn't feel judged or analyzed. It didn't even know what failure was. And so to go back and find that place that you know yourself as the invincible, the powerful, not because the self is powerful, because the power within you is so innocent and so boundless. And to leverage that in a beautiful, balanced way so that that whisper, that golden thread can come alive and be of service to humanity, as well as fulfilling and passionately bringing you alive. Because that's how it works. When we work with both, that which wants to come from you is what gives you the vitality, the life force energy, the purpose. that contribution that you yearn to be a part of. Such a beautiful choreography.
And I love the fact, Janelle, you brought it back to being a kid, because we all know that feeling, whether it's in our own remembrance and embodied experience of being a kid, or whether it's in watching our kids or just hearing kids. Phil was talking just today about being able to be up at the baseball diamond and just hearing the happy play and laughter of kids. It's like it inundates your entire soul, that just nourishes you, because that kid energy knows. It doesn't know because it cognitively knows and it logically has rationalized it. It just knows because of the gnosis. It's alive in their being, that they're here, and they don't have to know what their purpose is. They know they're here, and that's what's most important. I know that, Janelle, we've talked about it before, like your inner kid, and my inner kid. I just love to skateboard, and I want to hear your story because it's a great story. I want everybody to hear it. But I just used to love to skateboard. I used to love to bike. I used to love to just to just play soccer, to run, to laugh. Like that was the beauty of it. And just the other day, as I was journaling, it was that reminder. It's like the children will bring us to the future of what we need to learn and grow from. It's like, yeah, we're coming back to that. And not a surprise, we sometimes have to visit our wounded children self to do that as well, right?
Right, right. And that's
Yeah.
exactly what I was going to say, because not everybody had that miraculous childhood. And guess what? If you haven't, now is the time. Yes. There have been many times that I have had to just be in and my little girl. And I just go, girlfriend, you sit right here with me. We're going to do this together, and you can have all the freedom and all the fun and all the adventure, because I'm here to stand by you and make sure that your voice is heard, because I know you're the one in me who knows. So I now am going to listen to you, and I'm going to follow your whisper, your guidance, and I'm going to give you space and a place to come alive again, right? Because that's the dynamic of life, is that we remember and we forget. We remember and we forget. And so in that sacred honoring is to hold space for all of us in this wonderful way, that we recognize it's all part of the play of the great awakening that's beckoning us from inside, right? There's nothing wrong with it. It's what's right about it. And it's giving place and space for all those emotions and all that energy to just come alive. It's like you're standing at the at the ocean front, and you're witnessing all of these waves. Sometimes they're wild waves, and sometimes they're gentle waves, sometimes no waves. But in that way, same way, it's being in the presence to witness all of that and say, wow, that wild turbulence and that just real tenacious energy wants to come alive. And we're here to say, yes, it has a purpose, it has a message, and it has a place in your life, because as it's witnessed, it turns to gold. And that's the sacred alchemy that we are being the stewards of, the people that we're going to guide through our program, so that you can turn it all to gold and recognize your own invincibility.
I like the way you said that too, Janelle, because those who know me also know that it's all about alchemy. And so when Janelle and I connected, it's like, oh,
Yes.
she refers to herself as being able to access and hold space for that alchemical process. And even our symbols are similar. It's like
Yeah.
every time we connected, and I went to see Janelle in California about 3 weeks ago, and every time we connected. There was another similarity, another thing in common, and yet another reminder of how time and space works in such beautiful ways that there is no denying the connection once the connection is meant to be made at the right time and space. Just like
Yeah.
when you look back in time to reclaim that beautiful childhood experience, or to let it grow through you instead of having to get stalled at that point. The opportunity to be able to dissolve into the everything, into the gold, into the God, the source, the universe, to be in that space of wholeness again is where revolutionary leadership is,
Yes.
and what changes the outcome of our reality. The more people, and this is Janelle and I share this same great love, is the opportunity to bring about the humanity's renaissance, where we fall back in love with our
Love.
wholeness. Love, love, love. And
Love
I noticed
moves
in myself,
mountains. Love
literally,
moves mountains.
and in my journey with Janelle
Bring it
as my
on,
mentor
right?
as well, right? That opportunity to recognize, I specifically, me personally, in my journey, I've been resistant to receiving love. There are
Mm.
parts of myself that I've recognized over many weeks now, working together very intensely, that I I thought that I was better at receiving, and I have been practicing it, and it's been very intentional. But to recognize that the love that I am not giving myself is
Mm.
inversely connected to all of the judgment and criticism that I have on myself. And as that shifts,
Yeah.
then my ability to love me shifts as well. And all of those self-critical, hypercritical, judgmental voices in my head that I know a lot of us have and experience, those start to dissolve into that oneness as well. And I've been, just even last couple of days, been feeling the accumulatory uh, response and result of that is like, whoa, this is it. This is center. This is God. This is gold. This is the truth that I am building my inner infrastructure and architecture on. And
Mm.
that is what we have to offer each other when we're in resonance with ourselves.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Exactly. And I think you brought a great point about that is um that nuance of love, of the unconditional love and reverence and respect we have for ourselves, and the propensity to earn love, right? Because that's just the play of life. And we all get to go through this curriculum. It's called, life school. And that reclaiming and re-remembering the truth about love, because we can't love someone unconditionally, and we can't give what we don't have. So that's what's really, I think, quite poignant about our infrastructure of revolutionary leadership, because it really goes a step or two deeper than most programs, in that as we're working with leadership, the first question is, how do you lead your own life, right? Because how we lead our own life, we want to be masters and stewards to our own truth, to our own true self. And when we are, then that brings about our capacity to be led, right? Even letting the ourselves be led by the whisper, having the courage and the gravitas, just like Jules had shared, that she's leaning into this uncomfortable place to let it unfurl and unfold and show her something that she hasn't been open to see. And so that is such a nuance of both the yin and the yang. So to be strong, but to be transparent and honest, and these nuances, which we call the pillars of evolution. And a lot of those pillars of evolution are the yin, the feminine qualities, because whether you're a man or a woman, the balance of the yin and the yang is necessary, because all balance has a way of flourishing goodness in whatever it is that we're setting out to do, or to even transform ourselves to be. And so there's the leadership of the self with the self being led, and then taking that out into the world to lead. And that really, you're leading from something that we have brought as the ingredients of our morals, our values, and our priorities. That makes up the golden nucleus of the self. Because when you're leading and being true to yourself, what you know you're being true to within you, then you're giving a gift and being present in a way that's much more dynamic and much more on purpose and evolutionary, therefore revolutionary for the healing, the wholeness, and the reawakening of humanity, right? So we do this and fall in love with ourselves and with all that golden potential, which gives rise to the evolution of the people and the planet, to give everyone the chance to have that purpose. Because we all need to need each other.
And something you mentioned the other day too, Janelle, is to take it that one extra step further, is that we all need to know that we matter. And when we think about it, when I think about it, and I know I'm not alone in this one as well, but from my own experience, there are times when I question myself, when there's self-doubt comes in, when we start to move away from that centralized nucleus of pure truth and gold. And as soon as we start to move away from the outside of it, it feels like we start spinning. What if I'm not? What if I've made all this up? What if I'm actually not that good? Who am I to think that? Raw, right? And that piece of actually having something to go back to that is centered in your truth, and not just centered in your truth, but we've talked about it as well, centered in something bigger than yourself, a trust that needs to be established in order, exactly, a rapport with that is bigger. And whether you call that the creator or source or universe or God or Allah, Buddha, whatever that is for you, the sun, right? But that which you can surrender to, because it takes that surrendering to be able to establish that central pullback, that magnetism that pulls you right back into you.
Right. And that's the interesting thing, that the play, all the play is welcome here. All of the play, because it really unfolds as the simultaneity of paradox. And in alchemy,
what is the simultaneity
of paradox is the yin and the yang, the sun and the moon. So what balances all of this is that the polarity. And when we welcome both, then we're whole. Because we're fragmented when we go, oh, I'm just going to earn love, or I'm just going to do this, or I'm just going to surrender and I'm not going to be in my power. So while Jules is talking about surrendering, she's also staying in what is truly true and really real, as she knows it in her heart and her soul. So because she's staying, because she's still and anchored in what's really true and truly real inside of her, as she continues to create that rapport and that relationship, all of us who do that, then we can hold ourselves in that surrender. We can know that it's meaningful to be honest and transparent, because sometimes there's obsolete programming from our upbringing, or from the way that we used to do business, right? Or the way that we used to have tendencies and propensities that may have looked successful, but didn't have the emblem of the golden truth right? So we may have sort of gone off our own golden road. So now it's just come, whoever you are, and come back to yourself so that you may live that and be that and know that. And then, of course, come alive into yourself and know yourself as that magnetism and magnificence of power. And it's the power. Like you talk about the sun, it's like it is the light, it is the power. And that force and that great, I guess it's life force energy. When we do that work of coming back to the center, welcoming it all, it's like we're the vessel and it does us. And that's how we have this sacred relationship with ourself and that which is greater than ourself, right? We don't become weaker by surrendering. We become stronger. The true self becomes stronger.
Mm.
So
And
we hold that for everyone who's ready to meet that golden nucleus and live the golden thread.
I apologize, I got excited, Janelle, because when you said that, it's like, oh yes, this is that golden juice.
Mm,
That energy of knowing that we each have our own unique originality, uh, piece to come alive within this truth. We're all one, and we're all unique pieces of that one. And so
yes.
when Janelle and I got together, and this is how our paths connected, is that Janelle is like fabulous at being able to hold space, be able to see clearly, be able to, without a shadow of a doubt, directly look into something and call it out. And like her skill is being able to fully love, like without a shadow of a doubt, be loved and feel safe and not feel judged in that. And we talked about how we come with our separate gifts. Like
Mm-hmm.
the safety and non-judgment is something that we both have in
Yeah.
common, right? And the way that I do it is by using my voice, by toning, by holding space, by the quantum energy work that I do, the metaphysical, history that I have brought to this, which we both have in different ways. And so our beautiful skill sets so beautifully coalesce to hold that
Complement.
safe, loving space where there's no judgment. And when we're in that space of no judgment, when we truly know we are being held and there is no expectation, everything shifts, which is why this is revolutionary. When we come together, when we hold space for people, when you find and explore and extrapolate and fully live into your own gold,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
how that comes alive in your world. And you birth the revolutionary leader by being your magnificent self more than ever before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
And I think that's also quite unique as I hear you saying it, because that's one thing that makes the program and the tools and jewels that we share so um, poignant and powerful and unique is that we are stewards of your soul. We're stewards of your soul architecture. We're not giving you a plan that you follow or a stencil that you follow. We're here to be stewards and with the eyes to see what you're made of. And so the great saying that we love to bounce back and forth with each other is borrow my certainty. I see you. I know what you're capable of. And I'm going to hold you to that. And I'm going to stay here for you to bring that alive unto yourself. Because we each have our own journey. We each have our own summit. And we are here at base camp because you've lived a meaningful life. You've done a lot of great things. But there's a good chance that you haven't yet summited. And that's what we're here to offer you, the great summit. Because there's nothing like that. And it's very likely that that's the life you were born to live. And when you give that, it gives unto you, and it's fulfilling. It brings you alive. It makes you feel connected to yourself, to your vision, and to everyone that you're sharing that with. And that's the ultimate energy exchange. That's the dynamism that brings life more alive.
And as you mentioned earlier, Janelle, as we hold space for you to climb to the summit, we're there with you. We're never alone. We're all doing this together. We're all equals. We are all in this journey. And we're really, it's time. It's time. I hear that all the time in my meditation. I hear that all the time. It's time. And the divine feminine and the divine masculine and every part of us wants to reconvene in this beautiful revolution, in this humanity's renaissance of us remembering that love and loving ourselves will change everything. That's a good note to leave it on. Janelle, is there anything else you want to say though? Like this is
I love it. This is
amazing.
perfect. And you know, it's really, I guess, that Jules and I have lived our lives, and we've come to this place where we go, what could be the greatest thing that we do? Right? And so about a year ago, I just said, wow, what is it? What is it I could do for humanity? What could be the greatest thing I could do? And so for a year, I've just sort of been listening and praying and being a steward of my own journey in both service and in solitude and in just being open and willing to look at different avenues and places. And that surrender is really what brought these new waves of creation and co-creation for Jules and I, because it's the way that I was open to receive in a non-linear way the golden threads that have been woven since I met Jules. And so it's such a both a celebration and a gift as well as an invitation.
I invite everyone to just lean into that if you feel that celebration, that invitation to lean deeper into yourself. This is a great opportunity to just take a couple of breaths and just notice when you lean in at that level, what's really calling out to you? What is your gold calling forth for you? And with that, I thank everybody for joining in. Keep tuning in. You know, pause it and stay in that space as long as you need to, because that's a very potent, rich, juicy space. And know that this is just the beginning. If you feel the excitement like Janelle and I feel it, I know that you can feel things coming alive in you just with listening. You made it all the way through to listen to the end right now. There will be more. The revolutionary conversations have just begun, and there will be opportunities to share. We invite anything that you would love for us to talk about, any discussions that you know will be rich and ripe for leaning into. And we look forward to any comments that you have, anything. And we are here and we are holding space for you, and there will be more, and we see your gold.
Join us on the dance floor, the new golden grid.
Yes.
What a
love,
joy.
love, love. Thank you so much, Janelle.
Such a pleasure.
Such an
A
honor.
joy.
Much love, everyone.